And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way, in the door. My people, I hope you all are having a truly, truly fantastic day today. Hey, it's just basketball, everybody. It's just basketball. Hey, you fanboys, I put that at the beginning so you guys will always remember the ridiculous stuff that your king says. But anyway, you see the title of the video. I always find it fascinating to hear the players talk about what it was like at the top 75 ceremony and what it was like when the GOAT showed up, when Michael Jordan showed up. I always find it fascinating. And today we're going to check out DWade tell his story about when Michael Jordan showed up. This clip is a little over 2 minutes, so bear with me. And but anyway, let's check out this clip.
The young boys in the crew.
Right.
We couldn't say shit. Like, we gotta play our part.
And it was a crew.
And we 75. We all 75. Right. We all part of the same team.
Yeah.
But you gotta play your part. You gotta play your position. Like, these are, and it's not playing your position. It's just giving old and a nod to who came before you.
So you would say you had a story?
Yeah. So, all right. So we in the room, right? And we have already taken this top 75 photo. Now, the photo moment was crazy because it was me, CP, Melo, Bron. Like, that was crazy itself. But we had a moment where they broke out into your positions. Ooh. So you got the ones, you got the twos, you got the three, so forth, so on, right? So the ones are about 6 foot. Chris Paul, John Stockton, Isaiah Thomas. So the twos, we looking at them.
Magic
like,
was over there with them.
Yeah, but Magic went like
He's
with
a hybrid.
them.
He was like a hybrid.
Yeah, he was a hybrid. So as the twos, we, Jason Kidd, Gary Payton, myself, all of us, 6'4", 6'5", whatever, we looking at the ones like, look at them little motherfuckers. Them motherfuckers can't fuck with us, right? We talking shit. Mm-hmm. We look to our left, you got 6'7", 6'8", you got Melo, you got his out. They looking at us the same way. They like, look at them little motherfuckers. Bro, you remember that? Bro, I'm talking about literally, we looking this way like, man, they can't. We talk shit like, yo, the twos here. We got this, we got Mike, we got Cole, look at them little, and then we look this way, and they look at us and said the same thing. Like, look at them little motherfuckers.
We looking at y'all looking at us. Power forwards looking at us.
We were sizing each other up.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Like, the greatest ever played the game was all still sizing each other up.
Yeah, the competitiveness that was
in that room was like, yeah, you here, but like, you can't fuck with me.
Still, to this day.
But like, real, like, sizing them. It was like shit talking in there, too.
For real.
You know, it was like, man, you know I'll bust your ass. You know I would have bust your ass.
I'll bust your ass in 78.
You talking to this is 75. This is...
You're talking about one of the greatest basketball moments that we've ever experienced.
That had to be some world-class shit talking going on in that room, dog. Like, yo, you wasn't fucking with me. You was never fucking with me.
The shit talking in the room.
With me in 89.
The shit talking in the room was crazy. But the moment
was black.
Was when MJ came in.
When he came in.
I ain't never.
Yeah. We talking about aura. You talking about aura.
Let me tell you something. When he walked through.
Just aura, that's it.
Everything changed.
Yeah.
The kids were like Cyrus and the Warriors? Like,
you know when the coolest person walk in the room?
Yeah. You cool until the coolest nigga walk in the room, yeah.
Man, when MJ came in and get silence. Yeah. Everybody was like, oh.
He's sizing niggas up from the tunnel.
The door?
Right away.
Stop it.
He walking past you. Yeah, man, I'd have bust your ass. Like, he's sizing everybody up.
Bust your ass.
You saw the clip with him and Magic that went viral, right?
Yeah,
they all saw the clip. Yeah. That was right away. And that's the moment where I was just sitting there and I'm like, I'm listening to Jordan and Magic talk shit.
Really talk shit though.
Yo.
Like, put your sneaks on, let's go right now. And I'm like,
I'll tear your ass up right now.
Oh, they serious. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, niggas have
like if they was breakdancers, they would have just started breakdancing. Like, you know how back in the day you pop, like they would have did that.
You know what else I do? AI. To see how they embraced AI. Like, we know AI. We've been around them. But to see how the older guys was embracing them, it was like, because that's hard to embrace. Right. Like, if you really want to get technical. Because your point of...
So first, let me start off by saying this. You hear them talking about, what it's like to be accepted by the older players, to be in that same room with the older players. And I will say this. I think that DWade and some of those guys, because obviously LeBron is part of that too. But definitely because I think LeBron ushered in, this level of disrespect for the older generation through his pursuit or his attempt at trying to be the GOAT. But it's good to see players like DWade and Carmelo still have some reverence for the older players, still showing that respect to the older players and still having that acknowledgement that it feels good to be accepted by the players who came before you in the game. But anyway, so you hear DWade talks about, the aura of MJ. When MJ showed up, it's like everybody was silent for a moment. When he walked into the room, they talked about, feeling like the coolest person in the room until the coolest person actually shows up. Kind of like, fanboys I say about your king, that LeBron's an alpha until a real alpha shows up. LeBron is an alpha when you can't find anything better. But anyway, so yeah, talking about MJ showing up, talking about MJ immediately sizing up people, talking about the competitive spirit in the room and MJ and Magic, trash talking each other, talking about, lacing them up and getting out there. And, DWade was like, no, they were serious. they were serious about it. And you can only imagine because both MJs are two of the most fierce competitors that you will ever have in the game. Again, we all know that as far as competitive nature, no one is like Michael Jordan, but in this current generation, we can also say that none of them have the same competitive spirit that Magic Johnson had either. To me, Michael, Magic, and Larry are, some of the fiercest competitors. And obviously, you put Kobe in there, obviously. But, the fiercest competitors that you can get. But I want to talk about this. No matter what field you're in, again, you can be in sports, you can be a musician, you can be an artist, you can be a computer programmer, you can be, an engineer, a lawyer, a doctor. No matter what field you're in, there are people who are at the top of that field, and there are people who stand out in that field, and and there's levels to it. You can talk about, in your city, there's probably, maybe one person, maybe a couple of people who are at the top of that field in a city. Then you can go to a statewide level. And then there's a person who's, probably the best in the whole state and so on. You go to in the whole country, there's someone who's at the top, and then, obviously worldwide. But there's levels to this. Now, hey, you fanboys, I want you to think about this. Think about how great you have to be to be in the top 75, but then there's one person within that top 75 that the rest of the 74 players acknowledge and revere on a whole different level. I want you fanboys to think about that. To think about how good you have to be. I mean, everyone always talks about the aura of MJ. Some people even say, it looks like he's glowing. But I want you to think about how good, because let's destroy this whole myth, because, you fanboys think of every kind of excuse you can possibly think of to try to diminish Jordan. And one of them that you like to say that I've heard, not only you fanboys, I'm sure you got it from mainstream media, because people like Nick Wright love to say this. Basically, that the media is what created Michael Jordan. Now, I've even heard Chris Broussard say this to some degree. Now, Chris Broussard he thinks Michael Jordan is the GOAT, and he gives Michael Jordan his props, but he kind of makes it that somehow this media myth adds on to his legacy, when I would argue that everything about Michael Jordan's legacy is a result of how he played basketball. And to me, the top 75 ceremony is the proof, because let me tell you this. It's one thing to say that maybe the fans are swayed by media, but it's another thing when the people who are in the field of what you're doing acknowledges, because they're acknowledging from your actual performance on the basketball court. So, and you gotta think, like, what made Michael Jordan that great? What made him that great is that he was so great at so many things. Again, they keep trying to put this best all-around player on LeBron James. No, the best all-around player is Michael Jordan. There's offense and defense. Michael Jordan is better at both by far. Better at both by far. So, again, if Michael Jordan was simply the greatest dunker anyone had ever seen, he would not have that same effect on people. He wouldn't be able to walk in a room and stop the show. We've had examples, because there's been great dunkers in the NBA who we acknowledge, but they don't get the same kind of respect and reverence that Michael Jordan does. Immediately, you can think of Vince Carter. But there's been lots of great dunkers in the history of the NBA who don't get that same thing. It's not that Michael Jordan was a great shooter. And you can argue about the three-point. Michael Jordan was an average three-point shot for his era he played in, but he was a well above average mid-range shooter. He was a mid-range assassin. But if Michael Jordan was simply a great shooter, if he was just simply one of the best mid-range shooters we've ever seen, he would not have that effect on people. If Michael Jordan was simply just one of the greatest defenders at his position, we know that he ranks in the top 5 for all shooting guards for steals and blocks. But if Michael Jordan was simply just a great defender for his position, he would not have that effect on people. And if Michael Jordan was a fierce competitor without all the skills, because there's been some fierce competitors in the NBA who just don't have what Michael Jordan has, then we would not be talking about him. He would not have that effect on him. But the fact is Michael Jordan was all around the best package in a basketball player we have ever seen by far. Superb athleticism, mid-range assassin, great dunking, killer will like we have not seen, super duper competitive, the ability to impose his will on the game, artist on the court. Again, the things that we say Michael Jordan do, I keep hearing mainstream media try to talk as if like these modern day athletes have caught up to Michael Jordan. No, there is still not one person doing what Michael Jordan was capable of doing back then. Not one person a day, and we all know that Kobe Bryant was the closest. But there's not anyone doing what Kobe Bryant could do in today's age. So Michael Jordan was a true artist on the court. Again, the will that never give up, that never say die attitude always made you feel like the game could be won as long as there was time on the clock, was so clutch that you literally felt like every time he took a last second shot that it was gonna go in. This is the way the fans felt. Fanboys, imagine how great you really have to be. I mean, really think about this. Really think about this. Imagine how great you have to be in a room with the top 75 greatest players and the rest of the 74 bow down to you. Let me say that one more time for you fanboys. Out of the thousands of players that has crossed the NBA court, and you get to the, whoever chose the top 75, and within that top 75 of all those phenomenal players, including your King fanboys, when Michael Jordan walks in the room, the show stops. And we saw what happened when Michael Jordan walked out to the crowd. Again, the noise by far showed you who has had the biggest impact on the game. It showed you who has impacted lives of basketball fans everywhere. It showed you who is the reason that these players are able to make the money that they are making. It showed you the reason that so many great players came after him, because they were trying to be like him. I mean, really think about this, fanboys. Again, at the end of the day, the top 75 ceremony really, again, there was really no GOAT debate to begin with. But if you're just being logical and thinking about the ramifications, again, thinking about what I said about how great you have to be to have that kind of effect on people. To have that kind of effect on people who do what you do. To have that kind of effect on people who are also great themselves. That top 75 ceremony settled the GOAT debate. It ended the GOAT debate. That the applause that Michael Jordan got is not happenstance. The applause that Michael Jordan got is not because of media. Again, going back to the players talking about how the players were affected when MJ walked in. That has nothing to do with the fans. We're talking about the players saying that when Michael Jordan walked in, everybody knew. And so we can sit up here and we can have these pretend GOAT debates. You fanboys, y'all can get in the comments and talk about Jordan had Pippen and all what you want to talk about. You can recite the scriptures of Nick Wright and Shannon Sharp. You can bow down to your king all day. You can defend your king all day. But the reality of it is when MJ walked in and how the players talked about MJ, that everybody knew. Once MJ walked in, this was it. And here, I'm going to give you guys a theory that I got. A lot of these people who are actually and the members of the CFL, a lot of people have been asking me, what is the CFL? So let me restate it. In the CFL are people who are capping for LeBron. So if you're a member of the CFL, this is what you spend your life doing. But I believe a lot of members of the CFL are actually members, not only, for whatever monetary gain they are getting for LeBron, but I think it's because LeBron gives them some false sense of friendship, like they're part of the club with him, and they feel special to be able to be friends, in quotations, with a guy who's supposedly in the GOAT conversation. I think a lot of those people, if MJ would embrace them as some kind of friends, would bail on LeBron in a heartbeat. I think the fact that MJ is just inaccessible to a lot of people, that this is why you have people in the media who are willing to cap for LeBron, because it's, they think they have this friendship with him. They think it brings them closer to him, and he's accessible because he's still in the NBA. And again, I think these people are capping simply for the status of being in LeBron's circle to some degree. But again, I think these people would turn on LeBron James in a heartbeat if MJ, would invite him out to go on the golf course. Kind of like J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith was capping for LeBron hard for a few years until he got to play golf with Michael Jordan. And I did a video about this. If you hadn't got to check it out, you should go and check it out. Fanboys, you guys probably don't want to check it out. But anyway, once J.R. Smith got to play golf with Michael Jordan, his whole tune changed. Well, first of all, I'm pretty sure J.R. Smith has like a Jordan tattoo. So J.R. has always been a Jordan guy. But again, being in the NBA, playing with LeBron, being under the pressure of clutch sports that they put on everybody. But it's like as soon as J.R. Smith got a chance to play golf with Michael Jordan, he was really fanboying out for real. I mean, he couldn't stop talking about it. He was like, man, I just got to play basketball with MJ. And he was going on and on and on about it. And he said, I just got to play with the greatest of all time. Because this is what he really feels. And so I think a lot of these people who are capping for LeBron is just due to the fact that Michael Jordan's not accessible. It's due to the fact that they wish they could be in the circle with Michael Jordan. And because LeBron provides them with this false sense of, he provides them with this friendship that's conditional. It's like, hey, as long as you go out there and cap for me in the media, we can be friends. And you can tell people that, hey, I talked to LeBron and I was on the phone with LeBron, and you can be in this circle. But again, I think a lot of these people would jump ship if Michael Jordan would invite them into his circle. That's my theory. But anyway, so the other thing, you fanboys just got to really think about is just how great you have to be to cause a storm like Michael Jordan caused. I mean, again, for those of you who've seen the movie Air, I don't know, for those who've seen that movie, it made Nike break all the rules. Everything that happened with Michael Jordan and Nike was going against the grain of what they had done previously with athletes. But again, the guy, I can't remember his name, saw something in Michael Jordan that he was like, this is the guy. This is the guy we got to place all bets on. We got to be willing to break all the rules, including, the thing that has, along with Michael Jordan increasing the salaries in the NBA. The other thing that players have to give him credit for is that he was also the one who made it so that athletes actually got a piece of the shoe sales. So he really increased athlete's ability to make money in multiple ways. But think of how great you got to be to make a company break all the rules that it was previously doing and say, hey, no, we placing all bets on this guy. We have to do this. Think about how great you have to be to inspire that many people to want to be like you, to be like Mike. Think about how great you have to be to do that. Nobody wants to be like LeBron. There are no Be Like LeBron commercials, even though I'm thinking about writing a song, but you fanboys are not going to like it. But I think I'm going to do a parody of the Be Like Mike song for LeBron. But think about how great you have to be to inspire so many people, to inspire the Iversons, the Kobes, the DWades, and, unfortunately, the LeBrons, even though LeBron's mentality, he just, again, it was never in LeBron to be on the level of a Michael Jordan, because LeBron, and to be fair, LeBron is the extreme case. But I say most of the people, everyone who came after Jordan, with the exception of Kobe Bryant, did not understand the work that it took to be Jordan. Everyone who came after Jordan, with the exception of Kobe Bryant, didn't understand it, including, again, Allen Iverson was a fierce competitor on the court. But again, he didn't understand that It was the fact that Jordan played that same way in practice that made him who he was. And this is what a lot of those players, but like I said, LeBron was the extreme case to where, he just threw out all previous standards to where he just said, hey, I'm gonna form super teams and I'm willing to take shortcuts to get the championships and to get the praise. I'm not willing to work on my game. I'm not even willing to play my heart out on the court every game. I'm not willing to do any of that. I'm willing to whine and throw tantrums. I'm willing to maneuver the pieces. I'm willing to make excuses anytime anything doesn't go my way. If I'm not winning, it's not me. Or if I'm not winning, it's because, oh, you guys didn't know I was playing with a broken arm the whole time. Yeah, I got so upset I punched the chalkboard in the locker room or something. If I'm not winning, oh, well, the team's been injured. We hadn't really had a chance to gel as a team the whole season. If I'm not winning, it's they fouled and we didn't. I mean, it's just endless excuses with this guy. So anyway, we gonna hold up here. But yeah, I think to me it's fascinating hearing these stories from the players who were there at the top 75. And like I said, to me, it is when you really think about how great you have to be for the best of the best to give you that kind of reverence. For the people who are at the very top of the mountain to look at you like, okay, you're just on another peak entirely. Like there's another peak on this mountain that you're on by yourself and we're all looking up to. When you think about how great you have to be to inspire that kind of reverence, it is truly amazing. And like I said, to me, the top 75 ceremony really ended the GOAT debate. Again, when the people in your field give you that kind of acknowledgement, that's a wrap. Nobody was doing that for LeBron when he walked in. LeBron was just another player. Honestly, I would like to know what a lot of the older players really think about LeBron. They probably like, here's this sucker who's destroying everything we built, who's throwing out all the standards that everybody has went by before. He's just doing everything to destroy what we spent years building up. Oh, hey, LeBron, hey, how you doing? All right. Yeah, good to see you here. All right. We gonna hold up here. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think of the story that DWade told about the top 75 ceremony? What do you think about what I have to say that the fact that when someone who is in your field, when the people who are at the top of your field, at the very top of your field, view you on another level, to me, that really says it all. And that shows you that there really doesn't have to be we don't have to talk about the stats. We don't have to talk about the accolades. We don't have to talk about any of that. That says it all when the people who are at the tip top of your field have that kind of reverence for you. You can't buy that. That can't be sold. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly, truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.